Hey, here's Coral with the John Deere 4066. Nothing new about that, but she'll shut it off just so we kill the motor noise for 1 second here. And hey, this is our new overseeder. If you want to read all about it before we do a video on it, it's the Frontier CS1360. We have a bin here for fertilizer, which we just exhausted and ran out, and the seed goes in here and the adjustments are here, but that's not what this video is about. Just stay tuned. Hang in here for a minute with me. Okay, so let's see what's behind the door at on the green machine. You know, I managed to pick this up for less than half of new price. I'd be surprised, after having inspected it, gone over it, used it, greased it, and more, if it had more than 10 or 12 hours on it. Somebody was moving and a friend of a friend connected us, and away we went. So here's the inner workings of the beast. So down here we have the aerator tines, and so this is what they call ground driven, non-PTO, which I quite like. And oh, there's a missing glove. And so there's two of those roller assemblies, the front of which drives a chain assembly. This one turns the feed dispenser mechanism, and this one I'm using to turn the fertilizer dispenser mechanism. Now, what's really cool about this is, let's say that all I want to do is aerate. Well, what I do is I pull, there's two pins like this, one on the coming off of the fertilizer bin, and one that used to come off of the seed bin. And they're rather clever. I'll show you an exploded view, a truly exploded view of the one that gave out after half an hour of my proud ownership. And it starts out life like this. It goes in there, and as this goes around, it of course turns this chain assembly. Provided this is turned in, and there's a little spring pin there, so you don't actually, very clever, you don't actually have to find the hole that's in the back cog. You can just put that in to the predetermined depth, and just ease it forward or lift it in the air and spin the aerator roller, and it will find its home, and you're in business. Or likewise, you can turn off the save wear and tear on the fertilizer assembly and just do some seeding, or vice versa. It's a very clever setup until it comes apart, as shown in the photo. And it did that after half an hour. The reason I'm kind of hunched down here on the ground, if I stand up you won't be able to hear me. There's enough wind noise happening. It's that time of year. And it's a Saturday, and I appreciate the fact that the local John Deere and Frontier dealer gives their employees the weekend off. But we had to get about 9 acres done here. The rain is coming in on Monday, and we had about half an acre done when that pin gave out, for reasons who knows what. And so I'll get a pin, or I'll phone the dealership. It probably won't be in stock. They can't stock everything all the time, so I would have gotten it Wednesday. I'm headed out of town. Coral and I are both out of town as of Thursday. So what do? Well, you know what? This is, I guess, why my dad's advice is so important. Always have a good, a bad, and an ugly plan. The good is everything goes as anticipated. The bad is you run across some hitches, but you figure out where the parts are and fix it. The ugly is, well, you just make stuff up. So here's what we made up. I went to the bolt bin, and I'll throw in some photos of my nifty little bolt bins. But basically, every time I need a bolt, a nail, a fitting, I will buy 2 or 3 or 20 or 50. So here's where we ended up with a 1/2-inch bolt, which fit the thread. I try and keep fine and coarse thread around. And so just pulling this out, and with the help of a little angle grinder, or bench grinder, sorry, we kind of shaped that end. I measured it up with that of the broken part and took great care in placing this in. Of course, there's no spring on that, so I needed to take a lot of care to not put undue pressure and distort that back sprocket. And the camera's probably not picking it up, but the bolt there is actually lining up perfectly with the hole. I shaped it on a taper, and we give it a nice little snug, not too much, certainly no power tools involved. And then with a trusty little crescent wrench here, I had put a lock nut onto it so we can lock it up. And there we go. Yeah, I should have used a proper, whatever it is, 5/8 or 11/16 socket, but we're off and running. And yeah, it's one of those things. I know it's not the height of cost efficiency to overbuy parts and supplies, but I'm 40 minutes from most of my suppliers, plus the hassle of getting through traffic, plus losing momentum, and then we bump into weekends. And so I've thrown in some pictures of some of the bolts and stuff I keep around, and we can usually make an ugly plan out of something. And there we go. Hope this helps. And there's a video upcoming on this machine. I'm just loving it at this point, so there's spoiler alert. So unless I have a big reason to change my mind, it's going to be a fairly positive review, but we'll get into a little bit of the detail and some of the quirks, foibles, and just outright mistakes I made in setting it up as we got the first half acre and acre done. But that's all behind us now, and here's to the rain doing its thing now, along with some of this gorgeous sunshine. Thanks for hanging out with me this Sunday afternoon. Talk soon.